Hello, Nancy.
Welcome to Masters of Influence, a premier video show where we share the success journeys of the leaders in their field and learn about those pivotal moments and decisions that shape their paths to prominence. I'm your host, Nancy Erickson. I work with high net worth individuals, CEOs, and business leaders, and I give them a real hands on white glove experience to write, edit, publish, market, and distribute their books worldwide. I'm the owner of Stonebrook Publishing, an award winning publishing house that publishes nonfiction works. Today, my esteemed guest is Sam Alexander. And it's a little hard to introduce Sam because he has had such a stellar career and he's such a forward thinker and entrepreneur. He started out as a marketing exec in the fashion industry and was instrumental in the success of such familiar brands as Levi Strauss, Gloria Vanderbilt, and Jones Apparel Group. But he's also this real high tech sort and has developed many platforms that use up and coming technologies that are really ahead of the curve. He's currently the CEO of C2C Fashion and Technology and is responsible for many products that incorporate technology into fashion. And it's so futuristic that I'm going to have to let Sam tell you all about it. So, welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Nancy, for having me here today. It's been an interesting journey. I went through some transition in my life, as I told you at one point, and I decided that I had to make a change based on our industry. And our industry right now has gone through a lot of transition itself. So, and the biggest thing that I've learned from dealing with the technology that you were just speaking of is that my market has completely changed. And
So, what industry are we talking about? Are we talking about fashion or technology?
I'm saying right now that we are focusing on smart products. We do smart products, smart networks, smart factories, and we're working into all of our technologies, IoT integrating into the smart cities. But we're also focusing on utilitarian products for the quality of life. Our company is C2C Fashion and Technology. We're in Austin, Texas, and we are developing factories. We have two factories here in the U.S. that we've established that are on-demand customization factories. I have 7 networks that are enterprise networks that we created to help facilitate the microeconomy that we're doing globally. And so what we're
Okay, so stop right there for a second. What does that mean?
Microeconomy right
No,
now.
well, just 7 factories that facilitate the growth of microeconomy.
The 2 factories that we have now are on-demand customization. We can produce products on demand. We can actually scan you with one of our apps, and then you can go online and actually create your own fashion with our tech packs that are incorporated into our software. And we're using all different types of technology from AI. We're using virtual augmented and mixed reality. We also developed the HoloLens for holograms that are interactive that you can actually interact in your living room with. So we are moving into the next generation of technologies. And AI basically has been used as another buzzword that everybody's on top of right now.
Sure.
It's kind of like the metaverse and it's kind of like the NFTs. And now you got AI, that's the new buzzword. We've been working with AI technology for the last 10 years.
Hmm.
And
That sounds like before AI.
well, you got to realize AI has been around for the last 60 years.
Oh.
And so we've been developing different software applications and incorporating it into our platform. What we've developed is a global platform that connects you from concept of raw materials to the end of the life cycle of a product. And in our design, we design a life cycle into the product so that we can monitor from the raw materials to the end of the reuse of those raw materials at the end of the life cycle.
Can you give us an example of what that looks like?
Say, for instance, if you're using a cotton fiber, we can tell you where the cotton came from, give you the history of the cotton, give you the history of the workers that are that were used in manufacturing that particular raw material, to the actual source, to the actual distributors of those products. It's built into the life cycle of the product. Right now in Europe, if you can't show the life cycle of a product, you can't ship those goods into Europe anymore.
So that's very different from in the U.S.
Well, the U.S. is behind on a lot of things because obviously we don't have the capacity right now within our government to a certain extent to be able to keep up with all these technologies, and it's difficult with all the other things going on here for them to keep up with what they have to keep up with the movement of it. You're talking every 90 days is a new generation gap for technology.
Wow.
And so even with when I meet in meetings with different people, it's difficult to even have some conversations because everyone is trying to keep up and catch up. But what you're looking at is we've moved from uh, Web 1, which was your original technologies that when they connected computers together. Then we went to Web 2, which was read write. Now we're in Web 3, which is read write verify, meaning that the technology is all verified in the blockchain. So all your
And what does that do for us that it's verified?
it gives you a visual idea of what's going on within the ecosystem. Right now, you're not guessing anymore. It's reality. It is real technology, real information that you need, and data is your new currency. Data is your new currency. Data,
Okay.
whatever you want to call it. Some
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, whatever part of the country you're in, data, whatever, it's your new currency. And what we're doing is we're doing predictive analytics, meaning that we can predict for the consumer before the consumer even understands or knows what they want, because we're using their behavior based on trend forecasting and giving them products that they don't even realize exist in the marketplace.
So give me an example of that. You told me some things the other day that were pretty amazing.
Well, our first product that we've just launched is a new carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And the carbon fiber is incorporated into your clothing and bedding, clothing, draperies, and we can harvest the energy from your body, the heat, and we can turn that into far infrared. That far infrared is then redirected into your skin, which decreases your cortisol level and increases your nitric oxide level, which
Wow.
helps you to sleep better, gives you a clearer mind, and then it also helps you to heal better because of the red blood flow that's increasing with the nitric oxide. So there's a lot of new technologies. We've got fibers that adjust the temperature for hot and cold depending on the temperature. We're doing all kinds of sensors that can do monitoring of everything from your heart rhythm. I actually brought some items for you to kind of give you a little bit.
Oh, good. Because I mean, your products. I mean, the technology is something that we're not all going to understand.
Right.
But when you show us the products,
that's what
and how technology is incorporated into it.
Okay, this is,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that, but this is an LED t-shirt. Anything on your
Yeah, it's like, it looks like an ad board.
anything on your phone, we can put on the t-shirt or on a backpack.
And it keeps doing that, scrolling through that?
It also can communicate. You can do communications by actually typing what you wanted in it. Say, for instance, you're at a sport event, you can change your t-shirt to the actual team and write and type anything on that you want on here for each team.
And you can also say to someone, "Will you marry me?" Right?
Right. That's like anything you want
At
to
a sporting event.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that you can do creative with this. If you have a bar or a restaurant, you can use these for your name of your
staff and
restaurant,
stuff.
for your company. If you're in an event, we have all different types of products that we can do this technology on. This is in LED. The new products that we've just developed are in fiber optics.
Fiber optics.
Yeah. And to
Wow.
give you a better idea of what we're doing, just to take, these were first generation products.
Okay.
We had a motorcycle jacket that we created with signal lights on the back that have GPS in the shoulders that vibrate in the shoulders to tell you which direction to turn. It turns the signal lights on in the back. And
okay, so wait a minute. So you're going along on your motorcycle, you got this jacket on, you're GPSing somewhere trying to get, because you don't know how to go, and your jacket's going to tell you how and turn on your signals?
It turns the signal lights on for you in the back, and it taps you on the shoulder and tells you which direction to turn.
That's really cool.
But the most important thing is we're powering this jacket with solar beads.
Solar beads.
We can collect the heat. We also do a lot of harvesting of energy. As I was telling you, another item. This is a solar powered handbag with with Bluetooth and incorporated into the system. It also has Omni charging, and the chart, you can put any of your devices in here when you go to the beach or the pool, and it'll charge the devices for you. It also has speakers on here that'll broadcast anything from your phone. And so this bag becomes your portable handbag at the beach.
Wow.
That solar.
And it opens, right? And you can put stuff in it?
Yep. It opens and you have solar panel.
Solar beads, so it keeps charging itself.
The solar panel. The other product has solar beads, and you can put anything in here, and you get Omni charging.
Oh, wow!
So you can put your phone in here, your earpiece, your headsets, or whatever you want to do, and it'll charge them for you here.
So I see these products aren't really draining our electric grid at all.
Everything has a certain amount of in and out as far as how much energy has to go in to get the energy out. So it's all a measurement of that. You have to charge these on sometimes if you need to, you can charge them, but otherwise it's mostly solar. And
Okay.
that's what we're looking to
Yeah,
harvest as much energy as we can from the sun. That's the most powerful energy source out there.
of course.
This this is this is the T-shirt that does everything that your smartwatch does. It does your count on your steps. It also has GPS in the shoulders that vibrate to tell you which direction, if you're running, to turn for your directions. It does your heart rate, your your count of your steps, and then the GPS is in the shoulders.
Wow.
So those are the kind of things that we're integrating into products right now, and we're doing everything from sensors to fibers to uh, it's just unimaginable what we can do right now with the technologies that are coming forward.
Well, it sounds like some of the things that you're working on are for health benefits. Is that right?
Well, we're doing preventive medicine.
Preventive medicine. Okay.
Yeah, we actually, I just finished up a project that I can say about. I can't talk about a lot of things because I'm in the NDA, but what I do basically, people bring me ideas, and I
Yeah.
take their ideas and I take it from the prototyping all the way through to the actual production cycle and did the distribution part of it through our e-commerce platform. So we specialize in the smart products, and like I said earlier, we do smart factories, smart networks, smart products, working in IoT into the smart cities is what our focus is as a whole. We're working on the quality of life for people.
Mhm.
And that's what the focus is going to be. You're going to see the change away from marketing from a quantity of life to a quality of life. Our focus as far as what we call marketing now is called cognitive commerce.
Huh.
Cognitive commerce is the combination of all these technologies that I'm showing you for the better satisfaction of the consumer. And
Interesting.
and the consumer now, we will be able to use predictive analytics on the consumer to customize the products to the demands.
So, what would that look like?
Well, for instance, if you start using our technology, then through the machine learning, it learns your behavior and your dislikes and likes, and any trend that we have, we can overlay those trends on top of your behavior, and then create custom products specifically for you.
And what kind of custom products are you speaking of?
Say that you have a handicap or some type of issue, we can actually create a product that'll help you with your quality of life.
Wow, that's
And,
amazing.
and everything we're working on is to give you preventive medicine versus catastrophe medicine so that
Mhm.
we can give you insight into what may happen to you down the road using artificial intelligence to be able to tell you what's going on in your ecosystem as far as your body.
So, maybe give you some advanced notification or
Right.
warnings
It'll
or lifestyle choices kind of thing.
that and as I said, everything will be IoT. When you walk into a restaurant going forward, eventually the menu will come up and tell you what it's to your advantage to eat, and
What I have to eat.
not what you have to eat, what would be a good choice for you,
Yeah, what's the best thing for you? Yeah.
right? Based on what you're having with your
Well, you know what? I could see this changing a lot of things in our society, like how restaurants, what they serve.
well,
Uh,
everything will become interactive.
yeah.
Instead of passive or somebody throwing a menu at you and walking away and you have to figure it out, you'll be able to say, well, what's the top selling item on the menu, and it'll show you the top selling item on the menu. What's the special for the day? It'll pop up the special. It'll tell you all different things that you will used to have to ask the waiter or waitress. It'll answer those questions for you automatically with the technology that you have. And most of
So
the
will we need waiters and waitresses?
uh, the problem with displacement, there's going to be displacement, but there's also new higher level jobs and higher paying jobs that will be created from the displacement. It's like, you don't want to be a blacksmith when they invented cars, and that's
Right.
where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And as far as waiters go, I mean, there's restaurants here in Austin that you have robotic waiters that bring your menus and your water and drinks and everything to your table now. And
Well, they use robots in hospitals a lot to
yeah,
deliver,
yeah.
supplies and that sort of thing. So, um, talk a little bit about that shirt that I ordered for my friend, if you could.
That was a carbon fiber, and what I did was I had
So
two.
let me just tell people. So I have a friend who had a double mastectomy, and she's struggling, and Sam had an answer for that. So let's tell them about what that is.
Yeah, I have two clients. One of them has a utility patent on her shirt, and she basically had created the actual style of the shirt and with the pockets for all of the compartments for the drainage that you
So
have
it's something someone would wear after a
after you go through the mastectomy for men or women, because men have to go through it also.
Mhm,
And so once you go through the process, you have to keep the tubes in there to be able to monitor how much fluid you're losing and measure that fluid each day.
mhm,
What I did was I took two companies that had two different patents, the one with the carbon fiber and the one with the utility patents. And I combined the two companies and put four patents into one shirt. And the one shirt now, the women or men have the ability to buy this shirt, and it gives them, as instead of having a woman when they used to leave the hospital, they had to have a man's big shirt to wear out of the hospital.
mhm,
That was
mhm.
not feminine or made a woman
Yeah, yeah, it's
that
just
she
yeah.
had. So now we have a beautiful pink shirt that she has with her tubing and all that stuff in it, and it basically has a carbon fiber in it, which basically will help you to heal faster because of the increase in the nitric oxide,
Mhm,
calm you down because that's your cortisol level. And then the utility part of it is it has the compartments for all of the different tubing and
mhm.
for storage of the liquids that you
The
have.
drains and stuff. Well, I think if you bring your cortisol levels down, then you can start to heal because that's a big
Right,
barrier of the stress, et cetera. So,
right. Stress and sleep better and everything.
mhm. So, Sam, can you talk a little bit about well, our conversation the other day? You were very enthusiastic about this being a turning point in our society and where we are um, at this point into moving into new technological capabilities. So, can you talk a little bit about that and why you're so enthusiastic about it?
Well, this is the largest paradigm shift that you're going to see in the history of the world that we're going through now. And the people that are willing to open up and learn about it will move faster into the transition.
And
And
what is it that they need to learn about?
uh, there's IoT.
Internet of Things, okay?
Internet of
Blockchain technology, right?
Well, it's a combination of VR, AR, MR, XR, and holograms,
Hmm.
IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and then your blockchain technology. Okay, and that's all combined into what cognitive commerce is, because those components will all be tied into your products going forward.
Cool. Good. So what do you see coming? What's down the road?
Well, autonomous technology is where everybody from Elon Musk to Apple and all of them are trying to get to now. The autonomous technology is components that operate at their own commands, and that's where your AI is coming in. And
Hmm.
like I said earlier, AI has been around for 60 years. It's just that people are becoming more aware of it, and the hype right now is on artificial intelligence. So everybody in the world is talking about AI now, but they don't realize what you have to do to really sustain yourself. One of the biggest issues that most of the corporations have made is they dump too much data
Yeah,
into
they don't know what to do with it, right?
they dump too much into it, and they didn't train their AI correctly.
Hmm.
And you have to train the AI, or basically you put trash in, you can trash out. So it's all about learning how to build from a micro standpoint. You got to start from like a child and train the AI like a baby.
Hmm.
And when we get to,
And let it grow up, right?
and it will learn it'll learn the behaviors, but if you give it bad information, it becomes a delinquent juvenile.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Well, so what kind of products do you see might be on the horizon that would be interesting to consumers?
Well, everything, as I said, will be IoT, so it will all be connected. And what you're looking at is interactive. Everything will become interactive. And then you're also looking from a quality of life, a quantity of life to a quality of life, which means your products will be utilitarian, and a life cycle will be built into those products, and we'll be able to trace the life cycle of those products. So there, anything to do with the quality of life will be your new types of products. And when you're looking at the new types of products, the you've already seen a lot of them come into the market, and what you're going to see is a lot of companies that will be displaced, like Kodak was, because
Yeah.
they weren't willing to evolve.
Hmm.
And the bigger you are right now, you're less agile to be
Yeah.
able to make these transitions. And you were talking about um, employees displacement.
Hmm.
Going to be a huge displacement of people, just like there were for blacksmith and stable workers, and
Yeah.
yeah, or when we went from the uh, agricultural age to the industrial age. I mean, there was displacement of those people that were in the agricultural area, but they moved.
Right.
And there's more jobs that are going to be created with this new technology than there is with the technology that is going to be bypassed.
Well,
So
do you think people have to be technically savvy for these new jobs? Because most people aren't.
what I see right now is that trisector. I work trisector with government, private industry, and education. And
Hmm.
we have to work closer together to be able to walk away from the siloed mentalities that exist now in our economy
Hmm.
and move into more of an IoT mindset to where people understand project management. They have, and your most important skill to have right now is your creative skill.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about, because who's thinking of these kind of products? Because I can't even think of this stuff that you're talking about. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know that I need it because I can't even conceive of it.
I sit every day and one after the other go through different companies and I with people that come to me with ideas that they want to be able to develop from the concept all the way to
To
the
the
actual
protocol. Yeah.
product, and then also the branding marketing of those products. And it's it's very easy because there's a lot of people with a lot of ideas, but a lot of people aren't willing to sit down and lay out a complete prototype of what they're talking about. They just have
Hmm.
an idea, and that's what I run up against dealing with a lot of the people is that they have a concept or an idea, but they don't have a complete idea. And a lot of them come to me with ideas that really aren't ideas because it's old ways of doing things. And the problem right now is we
Oh, I see.
get
Yeah.
people to let go of their trying to fix the existing world.
And create a new word. Yeah.
And what we're doing is creating. We're not looking to fix it. We're going to bypass it and create
Yeah.
a completely different world.
So it sounds like imagination is a big component
Your
in
creative,
being able to go forward.
right? Your creative skills are your most powerful skills you have right now, and they're not being given into the education part of it. And that's what we're trying to do is get them to quit being so siloed in their mindset because a lot of the jobs that they're preparing these kids for right now will
Aren't going to be around, right?
be around.
Well, that's interesting, Sam, that you say that, because um, in the time between when I was in school and my kids were in school, it's almost like they had to know what they wanted to be when they were in high school, and then they kind of streamlined their education to point toward doctor, scientist, accountant or whatever, and a lot of the creative opportunities weren't present in those education.
I have a lot of interns that come to me every year, and I will tell you that my liberal arts interns are the best ones that I have right now because they're not limited into making money. They're opening their minds up to have some clarity as to what could be versus what is and how to make a dollar. And I
Yeah.
think that there's a false god right now that is going to be a disappointment to a lot of people, that
Mhm.
dollar and what they consider as wealth, and it's not something to worship right now because it's a false god.
Well, you asked me that the other day, what is wealth? And I'm like, well, I got my health and I've got my family.
Yeah, you're one of the
And
first.
then you're like, your time is your most valuable asset.
Yeah, your time is a combination of your youth, your health, and your dreams, and that equals your time. And your time is your most valuable wealth that you have. And the question I asked everyone is, what are you doing with your wealth? Are you
Mhm.
using it to make a dollar that when you get old, you can have all the dollars in the world and you can't buy back your youth, your health, your dreams, or your time? And
So there's more to life than working, right? Yeah.
right, yeah, and we all have to learn that because we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to the condition that we've been conditioned to, and that's what we adhere to.
Well, you know what? I have to tell you that we both were just talking about how we're both baby boomers. And I hear a lot of people in my age group saying things like, those young kids, they don't want to work and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here going, they figured out really early what not to do.
Right.
They figured out a lot earlier than I did that I don't want to work all the time.
Well, one day the worst job will be synonymous with slavery. It just has changed deals.
Mm.
And credit card debt is the same thing as a company store. Okay, you remember in the old days when they have the company store and the people could go sign their X on the name and get as much as they wanted, but they never were able to pay it off.
They never got out of the debt. Yeah.
Just an evolution of the same old practices. And what I see right now is a new world of where you'll have the Internet of Things will connect everything. The blockchain will democratize everything, and then AI will solve a lot of our problems that we need to be solved, and it can do it very quick, very fast. It's probably some of the most incredible technology that I've had to deal with as long as I've been dealing with technology. And
So how are we going to make that shift as a society
oh,
to,
oh,
you said everything's Internet of Things are going to be connected, but only if we buy the connectable devices and such, right?
you already bought it. That phone you have is connected you to everything in the world. And
Yeah.
it's, if you talk about the mark, it's the mark. It knows more about you than you know about yourself. That phone does. You give it all the information it needs every day just
Yeah.
by holding it in your hand and using it. So your phone is already your connectivity to IoT,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a device. What you're going to see happen is a lot of the third world countries are going to progress a lot faster than the major companies have, because they don't have all of the government restrictions that we
Oh,
have
I
to deal
see.
with to be able
Oh, I see. Yeah.
to create new products. And the other thing is they'll have the phone, which is their connectivity, and then
Mm-hmm.
you got Starlink coming in with internet that you can be out in the middle of the desert or in the Amazon rainforest and have internet connectivity now. So
Is that through satellite connection
yes,
then?
satellite connection. Yeah, he's created an incredible network for satellites, and so you've got that coming, plus Bitcoin, which is going to democratize currency,
Bitcoin.
where these third world countries won't have to depend on their. Well, I shouldn't even say third world countries. Look at our country right now. They're printing $1 trillion every 100 days, and people are fighting over who's going to be president. They should be saying, "What's that? What is that $1 trillion going to
I know, Sam, after you told me, I couldn't sleep that night because I'm like, I can't do anything about the debt. Yeah.
Well, you got to look at the debt. We're $35 trillion in the red right now. Our interest on that is, I think, 1.6 trillion. Okay, most 90% of the GDPs for the countries that are out there in $1 trillion.
And our debt is larger, our interest on our debt is larger than the GDP of the country. So
Most countries, yeah.
let's
And so,
go back to Bitcoin for a second, because people have been playing with it, and it's getting to be more. I would say people are getting more familiar with it. So, why do you think that is a good way to use, maybe invest, or to use to buy and sell, trade goods?
well, number one, it's people. The reason that it was not encouraged is because up until about 2 months, 3 months ago, it was not legal for the exchanges to sell you Bitcoin. But now you've got BlackRock and Fidelity and all the big guys come in, and they've been able to create EFTs with Bitcoin. So now I just saw the BlackRock $40 billion worth of Bitcoin, and there's only 50 million tokens available, which is verifiable on the blockchain. So you just can't create new tokens. It's all verified. It's not like printing $1 trillion and nobody.
Right. It's like the gold standard, right?
Right. And so what you now have is a commodity currency that's, number one, portable. If you leave the country, you can't take more than $10,000 out at a time.
Oh, right.
And if you walk out with a bar of gold, I don't think you can get out of the country.
You're not getting through airport security.
Not only that, I don't have a lot of faith in investing in a rock. Okay, and if it's a magic rock, here it is. Okay, you can have it, but the utility of gold is only 2%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a rock, basically. And then when you start looking at Bitcoin, it's portable. It's inflation proof because it's tied to the dollar, and the more dollars they print, the more dollars it costs to buy Bitcoin.
Right.
Okay, and now you can use it pretty much anywhere in the world.
Yeah. So are you able to shop with Bitcoin?
Yeah, you can shop. I accept Bitcoin and Ethereum for any of our products and services.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Bitcoin and Ethereum over the dollar right now. I'd rather have that. Yeah.
Well, I told you that a few years ago I was working with a gentleman in India. We were working on his book, and he said, "I'm happy to pay your fee." He said, "but I can only pay you in Bitcoin because in India they can't export their money, and they had just gone through a devaluation of their monetary system at that point in time anyway." And I was kind of like, really? Well, okay, Anyway, it was my first introduction to Bitcoin, and he kept telling me, buy some. So I bought a little bit, like $2,500 worth. But with what he paid me, which was like about $10,000 at the time, American dollars, within months, it was worth $70,000.
Right.
Now that's when it was really racing up, like in, around 2017, maybe 18. And I sold it So I don't have any right now, but since talking to you, I think I want to go back and start doing a little investing.
Well, if you see BlackRock buying $40 billion, is that telling you anything?
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
see Fidelity and those guys
it's here to
now,
stay.
now
Yeah,
let me ask you a question. Now that they can put it in these people's retirement funds, don't you think they're going to convert all of it over the most of it over to Bitcoin now because it's a lot more stable than anything else?
yeah.
Okay,
We'll see. Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that's the kind of forward thinking that you do that I don't do. I can't see around the corner.
well, and that's sometimes one of my biggest downfalls is I get way too far ahead of everyone, and sometimes uh, the biggest issue I have is people tell me I give them a headache once we have a conversation, and I don't want to be like that. But if you don't want to change, then shame on you, because
Yeah,
the largest paradigm shift that we've gone through in the history of the world, and it's going to be larger than when we came out of the industrial age into the computer age. This is a huge shift. And you're moving everything to a zero marginal cost of goods, and you're starting to hear a lot of the people talk about zero marginal cost of goods. As this technology increases, it brings the cost of everything down.
wow.
Okay, and
Well,
you got to think about when you used to have a camera that you had to have a film developed for, and take it to the deal, and all the stuff. Kodak went out of business because they wouldn't
it
change.
didn't change
Okay, then you also had to have a camcorder. Remember those big old camcorders that your parents had?
on the shoulder. Yep.
Okay, now you got a phone. It does it instantaneously, and you hit a button, it'll send it anywhere in the world at the punch of
Yeah.
it, and it costs you nothing.
Well, Sam, let me ask you a question because it kind of goes back to this wealth question and all these things being interconnected. What do you think the the core value to people will be of all these innovative changes?
Their creativity in their time.
Their creativity. So will they have more time to
They'll
do
have more
other?
time to be more creative in. But the problem is, most of them have been brainwashed into being robots. They're all looking for a job, and they've got to quit looking for jobs and look for opportunities.
So if you were to advise somebody who was intrigued by what you say, what would you suggest they do to get involved in
They
this?
have to become an entrepreneur and start their own business as quick as they can.
Yeah, but how will they know what to start? I mean, what will not be obsolete in 10 years?
You have to look at everything that everyone looks at as a problem is an opportunity
Right.
to solve that problem. So you got to look at the problems that people are having right now, and solve their problems and give them an opportunity to use your products. So you got to look at the problems and create businesses based on the problems that people are having. And right now, the biggest problem most people have is they don't own their time anymore. So
Yes, they're trading dollars for time, right?
and their dollars aren't making up for the cost of inflation that's killing them right now. You've got inflation eating them up from one end and deflation eating them up from another end, and it's coming together. And the middle class is getting killed the most with this. The poor people are getting eating up with inflation. The rich
Yes.
people are even eating up with deflation. You see those buildings in San Francisco and all the major cities selling for 1/10 of what they were valued at 2 years ago. So deflation is killing some guys too. So now you also have all these bridge loans that are coming
Yeah.
in. Okay, and people aren't paying attention that these bridge loans most of them are financed at anywhere from 0 to 2%. They're going to be refinanced 6 to 8% now.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking trillions.
Yeah. Yeah. So debt, that's another topic. We could go on. Stay away from it.
But the opportunities are right in front of us, because for everybody that's looking at things as negative, they should be. The difference between positive and negative is your experience and your education.
Mm.
Okay, if you don't have the experience and education, then you look at things as negative. But if you got experience and education, you look at them as opportunities.
Mhm. So tell us in closing here, Sam, what are 2 or 3 different products that are available now that people could might be interested in that combine the technology and the fashion?
Well, the main product that we just released is that one top, and
Yeah.
that
For the mastectomies, yes.
right, that's going out to the hospitals. I have pajamas that we have ready to go after this,
And what do they do?
they're the same thing with the carbon fiber.
So they,
You sleep in them at night, yes. And just to give you an idea, one of my business partners had me make up a pair when we made up the samples.
yeah.
And he called me back about a month later and said his wife told him to get 5 more pair of those pajamas.
What did they do for them?
If I can increase your nitric oxide, what does that do for you?
Oh yeah, you're gonna sleep. Yeah.
No.
No.
That little blue pill.
Oh, you won't need it. Oh, we'll test a pair of pajamas at our house.
every every woman I know wants to get her husband a pair of those pajamas, and he said his wife told him to get 5 more pair. It's like,
One for every night, right? Of
yeah.
the week.
So
Yeah.
we've already blind tested it, and I just can't say anything about it because
I know you've got a lot of stuff that's
we,
waiting for approval from the
yeah,
FDA.
well, that, and then it takes so much time and money to get all these things approved too. So there's a lot of opportunity though as we move forward for people that can see that these technologies are coming, and also looking at the problems that people are having and say, okay, how can I solve it? The biggest problem right now is your baby boomers are the bulk of what's happening, and they own most of the wealth of the country.
Yeah.
And so, how do you keep them comfortable? Because number one, they're house poor. These big old houses they bought and killing them right now because of insurance, and their taxes and everything have gone through the roof. And their houses, they're paying taxes on houses that are probably worth half of what they say they are, but they're paying taxes on them for what they've been appraised at. And eventually, you're going to see that decrease in these houses come down, and it's going to be a different world. And these kids that you were talking about earlier, they don't want to own houses. They don't want to own
They
cars.
don't. They're very minimalist, you
But
know.
they are very smart because they're not
Mhm.
getting caught in the trap that we got caught in more and more and more and more and more. I mean, the
Yeah.
biggest investment you could have made in this country was for storage container units. You know,
I know. It's like you have so much stuff you got to put it somewhere else. I was thinking the same thing. I saw that.
there's just so many things that you see that these people do that are crazy, and now they're going to let go of it because they can't hang on any longer. So you're going to see that's why you see the major guys selling off all their stock and becoming cash rich because they know there's going to be a fire sale coming up here shortly.
Mm.
Okay, between the loss of jobs, okay, and uh, the companies having to change their behavior because of all the different technologies, you're going to see so many opportunities come available here shortly if you're number one, have cash available,
Yeah.
and number two, open-minded enough to see where the future of these technologies are going to take everything to.
Hmm.
And right now, it's a brand new game for people, and all the things that don't get caught up with the Kodaks of the world and the Blockbusters is all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a bunch of those guys out there right now, and they can't make this transition because they're too big to turn. They're like an ocean liner in a river.
Because they're not nimble, right?
They're not nimble, and
They're
they're not,
too much overhead.
the word we use is agile. They're not agile enough to make the
Mhm.
transition, and also they're siloed.
Yeah.
And being siloed right now, you just can't. You've got to have an understanding of the whole
Picture.
ecosystem.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, you've given us a lot to think about. So, to wrap it up, I want to ask you a few rapid fire questions to
Sure.
help the audience get to know you in a different way. So, are you ready for this?
Sure, I'm ready.
Okay. Cat or dog?
Probably a dog.
Probably. What do you mean, probably?
I'm calm like a cat sometimes, but then also I know a cat once they get on the other side, they'll scratch your eyes out.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Netflix or movie theater?
Netflix.
Window or aisle seat?
I'll see.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah. Well, you're morning too, because you sleep 4 hours a night. So
Well, I don't go to bed until 2, 3 in the morning.
you're all day kind of. Okay, Sam, what's something that you cannot do?
That I cannot do.
Yes.
Oh God. I guess my weakest point right now is just taking more time off and taking more vacations.
Mm.
Which that used to be. I was told when I was younger that your whole goal in life should be to have another vacation every month, and one day your whole life would be a vacation if you plan that out that way.
There you go. Well, you're far from that, I know.
Well, I'm at a point now where this is my last go around, and
Oh.
this is the one where I leave a legacy, and that's what I'm concerned with now,
Yeah.
is making sure that I do something to change the world. My goal is to help clean up our industry. We produce 8% of the carbon for the whole world. Our industry does. We do 20% of the water waste for the whole world.
Oof.
80% of our products end up in landfills. So my goal is to change that before I leave this earth. And that's what
That is a worthy goal.
and that's also to create opportunities for people throughout the world so that they can use their culture to be able to make products based on their culture. And
Oh, yeah.
that's the other
Get
area.
everybody involved, right?
Everybody in the micro level. And right now, we have the ability to have micro economies, and you're going to see micro grids, micro systems. Everything's going to become micro because macro is too big. It's not agile enough to change as fast as we're going to have to
Sure,
change.
sure. Well, where can our audience find you if they want to connect and learn more?
Okay, I'm on LinkedIn, which I should.
Mhm.
I'm sure you can put that in.
Well, you'll be tagged on this, so they can go to your
Also, our company is concepttoconsumption.com.
Okay.
The number two.
Concept numeral 2 consumption.com.
And we have a private internet for businesses called C2C Intranet.
Mm.
And that's a private internet. And you can go in, and it'll also give you a lot of the information that I'm giving you now. Because, and we have right now 120 countries and 120 companies in 20 countries that are registered on our platform. And the majority of the people there are C-level executives. And what we do is give them information to keep them up to date on all the things that you and I have had a conversation about now.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's news without being a part of the system.
Yeah.
To give you direct news that you really need to keep up with.
That's intriguing. Well, thank you again for your time, Sam. And thank you to the audience for joining us. If you or someone you know wants to write a book, you can find my contact information in my LinkedIn profile. And there's a link to schedule a strategy session with me. You've been watching Masters of Influence with Nancy Erickson. See you next time.